The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to the Writing Masterclass prepared by the OET education team. Whether you're here to find out more about the test or to get tips about improving your writing skills, there will be something for everyone. Each masterclass covers 3 main sections: the format of the test, tips to help you prepare before the test, and how to succeed on test day. At the end are a few slides about where to go for more support after you've watched the masterclass. The writing test is profession specific. This means you complete a test which is appropriate for your profession. Regardless of your profession, the format of the writing test is the same. It is the 3rd test on test day. The task is to write a formal letter on a medical matter. Usually it will be a letter of referral, although the reason for referral will vary. You are given 5 minutes reading time to read and understand the case notes, which explain the patient and their condition that you need to write about. You then have 40 minutes to write your response. Your letter is assessed against 5 criteria: overall task fulfillment, appropriateness of language, comprehension of stimulus, control of linguistic features, and control of presentation features. These can be more clearly understood in these statements. Overall task fulfillment is the overall impact of your letter on the reader and whether the response is of the required length. Appropriateness of language is the use of appropriate formality and whether the letter is organized appropriately for your reader. Comprehension of stimulus is the selection of case notes to provide relevant rather than unnecessary information to your reader. Control of linguistic features is how clearly your letter communicates to the reader by use of a variety of grammar and a logical structure. Control of presentation features is how clearly your letter communicates to the reader by use of appropriate spelling, punctuation, and layout. As you can see, each statement focuses on the reader, and the masterclass will return to this in the Prepare section. Each writing task is assessed against the criteria by a minimum of 2 highly trained assessors. Any borderline assessment or assessment scores which do not match will be assessed by a 3rd independent assessor to ensure the grade you receive is valid and fair. Each of the assessment criterion is weighted equally. As the format slides showed, considering your reader is very important. Each writing task will be about a different patient who has a different healthcare situation and therefore different case notes. This means it's essential that you personalize your letter by making choices of what to write and how you write it, and to avoid template answers that may not be appropriate for that particular situation. The writing task comes at the end of the case notes. You should turn to it first when the reading time starts, as it tells you the most important information: who you are writing to and why. In this sample answer, we can read that the reader of our letter already knows the patient, which will influence what is included in the letter. You need to spend the reading time understanding the case notes and identifying the information to include or omit. In this example, the reader would know this information, but it would be logical to include it as part of the reason for writing. On the other hand, this information is known by the reader, but is irrelevant to include as it does not relate to the current situation. The information this reader will be most interested in is that which is new to them in these 4 sections. One of the choices you will need to make to write a good letter is the structure, the order you write about the information. It should be in order of importance. The most important information, which is highlighted on this page, is important because it will help the reader continue the patient's care. Which order you write this information and which notes you combine into one sentence are further choices you will need to make. This information, highlighted on the page, is less important. It will not impact the patient's care post-discharge, but it can be useful to include to introduce the most important information or to provide explanation for the requests which will be made to the reader. These 2 pieces of information are unimportant, either because the information is out of date or could be assumed by the reader. It can be omitted, or it could be used as extra contextual details if wanted and time allowed. There are many different types of patient and healthcare situations. This will impact the way you structure your letter and the information you provide. Think about how your letter structure would need to change if the situation was an emergency. If you were writing to someone who is not a healthcare professional, for example, a social worker. If you were writing to an allied health professional or specialist, for example, an occupational therapist or a rheumatologist. What about if you were updating a healthcare professional already involved with this patient's situation? Taking this into account and choosing the best structure for your letter will ensure you achieve a good score. When reading the writing task, remember to read this important information. It reminds you that the case notes are designed to be a prompt only. As has already been mentioned, you need to choose a structure which is appropriate for your reader and to write about the case notes in the clearest way possible. Passive forms are appropriate for formal letters as they allow you to make the patient or treatment the focus of the sentence. In this example, the first sentence puts the writer at the start of the sentence, but it is not important who made the arrangements. The passive allows us to show the most important information by placing the treatment and the patient at the start of the sentence. Passive forms are something to use in your writing. Make sure that the verb tense you use creates the meaning you intend. It is likely that you will need to use a variety of tenses in your letter, and if you make a mistake in your choice, it can lead to confusion for the reader. In these examples, changing the grammar from present simple to past simple to present perfect provides different information about the patient's balance. To summarize, the best ways to prepare for writing are: practice writing about a variety of healthcare conditions to a variety of readers and for a variety of reasons. Practice writing for 40 minutes with the stationery you plan to use on test day. You can write in pen or pencil, but it is important that you are comfortable with your choice and practice using them. If possible, get feedback on your writing. Make a checklist of your common mistakes and refer to this when you proofread each time you write a new letter. Do look at official sample answers for writing tasks, but do not use them as template structures you can learn or phrases that you can memorize. Instead, sample answers can be helpful in demonstrating letter layout, as a good model of clear, natural language using a variety of grammar, and as an example structure for the particular set of case notes the sample answer is about. To make sure you get the best possible result on test day, here are some final tips for the reading time in the writing test. Read the writing task section first to find out the reader and purpose of your letter. Read the case notes slowly. At the end of each line, ask yourself, does the reader need to know this? If no, it should be omitted from your letter. If yes, how important is it on a scale of A, B, or C? After reading through the notes, think about your reader again. How are you going to explain the patient and situation? During the writing time, consider spending a few minutes planning. Mark the case notes using the decisions you made in the reading time. Cross out anything to be omitted and mark A, B, or C next to the notes that will be included to show how important they are to the reader. Plan the topic of each paragraph so you are clear which notes will be included in each one. If you make a mistake during your writing, cross it out clearly and carry on. Make sure you end your letter. If need be, when the end of the time that you have is approaching, leave a few lines space, write the ending, and then return to finish your final paragraph. Allow time to proofread your letter. Put yourself in the reader's shoes. Do they have enough information to understand the situation and what is required of them? Read for accuracy. Remember your personal checklist and check for the mistakes that you typically make. Don't worry about the word limit. If you have correctly selected the relevant information and avoided unnecessary detail, your letter will naturally be of the right length. The assessors do not count your words, but focus on whether the information you have included helps or hinders the reader to understand the situation. This masterclass on writing is available on demand, so you can watch it as many times as you like. For further ways to prepare for the writing test, visit the OET preparation portal for sample tips and strategies. Join us for our twice-monthly Facebook Live question and answer sessions. Ask an OET expert for their advice with your preparation questions. Improve your general writing skills by enrolling on an OET preparation course. We recommend our premium preparation course providers who have been endorsed by OET for offering high-quality courses to candidates. Contact them directly to discuss your situation and goal. If there's not one local to you, some of them offer online options. Thank you for listening and good luck with your preparation. Prepare now for success later.